BuffaloBrotherhood.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Buffalo Brotherhood podcast. This is BOBcast, episode 85. I'm Ryan. Alongside me, as always, is
Mike.
And across the table is
Doug.
And welcome to an after the break episode. We sort of rearranged our schedule a little bit. The 84, so we could be more timely there with Halloween. 84, we talked about the topic of Halloween and what we knew about it and what we enjoyed about it. And this episode, we're just going to sort of, it's not going to be timely, sort of relevant things, but if we are still here upon this planet in 2 weeks' time, if the whatever supposed astronomical event that's going to land and crush Sri Lanka doesn't create a tidal wave of madness that destroys the rest of the planet, you'll get to listen to this in your ear holes.
No.
So
I don't think that's going to happen.
Well,
it's only supposed to be like 2 meters wide.
Well, I doubt that any rocket booster from the 60s is going to crush it, basically in the world. But the
2 meters wide, but how long?
That's what I tell my wife.
It's not, I mean, I don't know. I don't understand why it's not burning up in the atmosphere.
Explain what's happening.
Okay. So,
he brought it up.
A man and a woman love each other.
In a nutshell, I think it's supposed to be either Friday the 13th or Saturday the 14th of November. This object is supposedly going to hit in would be the Indian Ocean, I guess, near Sri Lanka. And nobody is really for certain what it is, but I guess they're saying based upon the mass of it, they think it's part of an old rocket or satellite or something from the 60s or 70s. So, and it was orbiting, I guess, around the Earth, out past the moon, and back, and now it's going to, the orbit has decayed, I guess, enough that it's going to hit the Earth. And so, for some reason, I don't know why I don't understand why there was so much hubbub about it, which is kind of, you would think that there'd be a lot more space junk that hits Earth and burns up, no big deal.
WT1190F.
Yeah, it's WTF, yes.
WT1190F.
WTF is going to hit us.
The only known object that is certain to hit us. This is thought to be a returning piece of rocket that will strike Earth's atmosphere on the 13th of November.
Friday the 13th of November.
Aptly dubbed WTF. It's due to come down about 100 kilometers off the coast of Sri Lanka around noon local time. Anyone on the beach looking southeast at the time could see a spectacular display as it will be visible as it burns up.
Right. So. But it's still supposed to hit the ocean, some portion of it. So I don't really know why. Again, I don't understand why it's so exciting. You'd think that,
Well, I think most of the stuff the atmosphere does a pretty good job of burning up before we even.
I don't know.
Much of a chance
Here's the thing that if math is wrong will kill us, is that no one will ever hear this show in that case, because on October 31st, which is tomorrow from recording this, a 400-meter wide asteroid will pass safely by the Earth at a distance of 480,000 kilometers. That's still pretty close when you think space distances. Dubbed the Halloween asteroid, it is traveling at 35 kilometers per second faster than all known near-Earth asteroids. Although it will pass further from the Earth than the Moon, astronomers consider this a close pass.
Right.
So,
a lot of times, though, if it's not in our our elliptical, though, it really doesn't even matter. So it could be close, but it's not even anywhere near to actually being in the path of how Earth orbits. So,
now when we have to worry is in 2185.
I'll be dead.
That's let's see. So will our kids. So
yeah, pretty much.
What do you mean pretty much?
Well, yeah, they're not gonna live 200 years.
Yeah, so
I wouldn't say that.
Unless the technology then has accelerated to the point, and they're rich enough to pay for it.
The asteroid that everyone should be worried about is 41077720009FD. That's the one that everyone should worry about.
FG.
FD.
FD's his brother.
Yeah. This is the only known asteroid that warrants any level of unusual concern. Although it will miss the Earth on Thursday, which I'm assuming would be the past Thursday from the recording of this date, by 16 times the distance of the moon, it will make a very close approach to Earth on March 3rd, 2185. Uncertainties in the way the asteroid's path may change because of the way it's being heated by the sun results in 1 in 369 chance of an impact. The asteroid is 160 meters across and about 8 times larger than the Chelyabinsk meteor. Astronomers are monitoring it very closely.
The what?
Chelyabinsk? Chelya.
I don't know what meteor that was. Was that the Tunguska meteor that hit, or?
I don't know.
Well, yeah, there's a good chance that we will no longer be inhabiting this planet.
Eventually.
So you would think by 2185, though, we would have figured a few things out. Hopefully.
I would hope.
Assuming
If we're
technology travels
here.
the way that it has.
At least flying cars or something like that.
That'll
Right.
save us.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at least hopefully somebody will be on the moon or Mars by then. I don't know that 100. What did you say? 100 meters or 100?
140.
I don't know that that's though a planet killer. I don't. That's probably caused some really bad things to happen
That's
for a while.
459 feet.
450.
Just think about
So
it, though.
4
By the
football
time
fields. If that hits, that's going to cause major flooding on the shores if it hits the ocean. And if it hits the ground somewhere, probably some
I
tremors.
bet you could find out how big you'd have to be to really. I mean, it would do a lot of damage. There's no doubt about that. But humanity would survive that.
Yeah.
So, I learned from Armageddon it's got to be at least the size of Texas for it to be a planet killer, right? Isn't that what they say?
I don't have any idea.
Probably Ben Affleck's normally right.
Yeah. Well, it was Billy Bob.
That would have been
Oh,
Billy Bob.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Because he's like, it's the size of Texas, Mr. President. So.
Dude, you do a pretty good Billy Bob.
No, was that? I don't know.
Felt like it was a pretty good Billy. It was hard. It was
Yeah.
hard. You need to come in softer.
Okay.
Well, come in softer.
So yeah, we've got things coming by us all the time.
But that's if we don't open the portal to hell. Right?
Right. Exactly.
So supposedly...
Which is funny because the last words Doug started before we recorded was, I don't want to talk about it. We'll sound like a crazy person.
you brought it up, but now I'm very
now
interested in talking about it.
All right, well, what are you talking about?
I found an article on motherboard.vice.com. It says a
Sounds legit.
large hadron collider upgrade will produce 15 million Higgs bosons per year. So
okay, so explain to the people what you're talking about when you say the portal to hell.
So in Switzerland, in a small town in Switzerland,
On the border of Switzerland and France.
the CERN company has built. This was several years ago. A hadron collider, which is a simulation of the beginning of our universe. Simulator, essentially, is what
It's an
I've
atom
always read.
smasher.
Yeah, but and through the CERN Hadron Collider, they can simulate the environment of what it may have been like when the benevolent created or the world, the universe,
Yes.
yeah.
or what they believe is the way that it happened.
Doesn't it also try to show us the God particle,
Right. The Higgs boson.
Yeah, which is supposed to be the particle that's between everything that we know, that fills the gaps in the space between the stuff that we know of.
Right. So a lot of people were worried about it because when they built the machine, they had no idea what was actually going to happen when they turned it on.
Right.
And there were some concerns that it would rip a hole in time and space as we know it.
Right.
Well, that didn't necessarily happen, at least not
No.
to...
Not that we know
scary,
of.
though. Think about it. Think about when you have these intellectual physicists that are coming up with these stuff, and they're going, but if we do this, when we think about it, there's a possibility that this will rip a hole in space. That just kind of bugs me a little bit when you're thinking of these really, really smart guys that can wrap their head around these things, and they're the ones going,
Well, see, here's
that's
my
a
thing,
questionable
is
thing.
if we can't run our country without the involvement of banks, we have no real control anyway. We have no idea what's actually happening in the CERN supercomputers and in this debate. We're getting the information that they want us to have. Okay, so I know that may be going aluminum foil hat a little bit, but
we always do.
But I mean, I'm becoming a little more cynical about these things, or at least I'm trying to become a little less naive, if not more cynical.
We really should get a sponsorship from that aluminum company.
Yeah, we need to get a hold of that guy. We sell a lot of
aluminum foil products.
But now instead, turning it on and seeing or learning what they were able to learn isn't good enough. And I understand the desire to know more and learn more and experiment more. So now they are upgrading their Hadron Collider to, instead of using the smallest pieces of matter, now they're going to be using lead molecules. And the only reason I can think to use that particular molecule is if they're trying to build something that Superman cannot see through of. So they're trying to defeat Superman is the only thing I can truly think of. Right? No? All right, good.
Okay.
It was a poorly worded joke.
I will say this is that some of the far out there theories that I've read is that one thing that people think that they're trying to do is they're actually trying to create a weapon to kill God. That's what some people have postulated. I don't know. I have no idea.
It's a God gun?
A God. Well, I don't. Or to create the technology. Supposedly, there are these things. When these isotopes are smashed together, I guess that there are these things called strangelets that are created, that can be potentially created, which are supposed to potentially be, I think, highly unstable and like one of the most volatile substances in the universe. Highly explosive. I don't know what they do. I'll have to look it up, but that's what some people have postulated, is that it's they're trying to create a weapon to be able to kill God. So I don't know. It's
any
just
reason why they feel like destroying God is a good thing.
I don't know. I mean, I think they probably feel, like they've destroyed God through their scientific research, Ryan, proving that this particle exists, I mean, and most science going into, they probably aren't necessarily theists in any way, shape, or form to begin with, I would imagine. So maybe not. Maybe they all are, just being taken along for a ride by a malevolent power of some kind.
It says that with this change in their system, they have been producing 1.2 million Higgs bosons a year, and now they're going to be able to produce 15 million.
What do we need Higgs bosons for in the first place?
To study them, I guess.
Why do we need millions of them?
Well, it says if the Higgs boson is a needle in a haystack, we want to have many needles. To study many Higgs bosons, you need to have many haystacks. Makes
sense.
So
there's not millions of people looking at them, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's a subatomic, microscopically small particle, right? And I don't even know how they even detect it to begin with.
I don't know. I believe this website because they have an article over here for 12 million reasons to believe in lizard people.
Well, there you go.
12 million reasons to believe in lizard people. There's 12 million reasons.
Yeah, sorry.
12 million?
Okay. According to 2013 poll, as many as 12 million Americans believe in a possibility of reptilian overlords rule our country.
12 million people believe
12
this?
million Americans believe
We're getting
it.
into like another conspiracy show here.
That's intergalactic shape-shifting lizards in Congress and on TV. Granted, the lizard people in suits theory is one of the less popular in the nation. According to the same poll, 21 million believe the moon landing was fake, and 116 million think climate change is a hoax. So,
well, I mean, 12 million people can't be wrong.
When are we going to build a large Hadron Collider?
Who is we? The
The
Brotherhood?
United States.
The
Actually,
Brotherhood.
they were building one in Texas, but it got shut down. An even bigger one.
We should have the biggest one.
Well, we should, but we don't.
We can build it in Alaska. Nobody cares.
Well,
what happens
because
there.
if they open a portal to the abyss, Ryan, do you want it to be in America or would you rather it be in Europe?
I don't know. Okay,
Matter.
okay.
I'd rather it be in Europe.
Who's to say it's not already there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Look at the European Union. I mean, they're crumbling all over.
I mean, it's one of these exciting things. I mean, like what's going on over there is exciting and terrifying at the same time. You know, because you're engaging in, you know, the most cutting edge science, but at the same time, what's going to happen? You know, and when you have physicists, you know, renowned physicists like Stephen Hawking and others that are warning, you know, hey, there are the potential, even though it may be small, that, you know, you could open up a parallel, a portal to a parallel dimension. You could create a black hole. You know, you could create these strangelets that blow up or convert into a black hole or whatever.
What if these strangelets are like the key to like an interstellar drive and allows us to explore space?
That's true. Well, I don't know. What if they are?
What if like Higgs boson becomes the gasoline of the future?
I don't know. That's why I'm saying, you know, where do you go with it? What's happening?
You build me an X-wing is what you do with it. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You find a way to build me an X-wing.
There was that guy that created supposedly, what was that drive that they're calling like the warp drive?
Oh yeah, that could get you faster to Mars.
No, it was
Just recently.
It was saying it was basically no, they really weren't sure how it worked. Like in theory, they understood how it worked, but it was they were calling it basically a theoretical warp drive. I don't remember what it was called.
He just thinks really, really fast. Okay, so we've made lots of Back to the Future Day happened a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And one of the things, I mean, on Back to the Future Day, October 21st, it was everywhere.
Yes.
Back to the Future it was in video games, it was on television, it was on the late shows, it was on all over the internet and so forth. And one of the things I thought was most interesting is that, you know, the Sci Show, which is a YouTube channel that does lots of pseudoscience, science stuff, it had like a, what do we have now? What are we missing from Back to the Future 2? And their comments or his comments on how technology does not evolve at an equal pace. Some things outpace other things. And due to the fact that we discovered and sort of were able to manage the microprocessor, electronics and computers have skyrocketed in the 30 years since 1985 to 2015. So that's why, like, you've seen cell phones progress a lot farther than what they predicted in the 30 years that it would take to make Back to the Future 2. And then other things have not. Like, so, like, if we would have put the energy in, or all the energy and effort that we put into our electronics into, like, coat making manufacture, then maybe we would have had, like, an adjustable computer operated coat like Marty McFly does in the movie.
That doesn't make any sense. Because if you took away all the time to make technology, then you wouldn't have the coat, because the code is controlled by technology.
Microprocessors.
Yeah, but what sort of return are you going to get on having a coat that zips itself up?
What?
Are we overthinking this?
A little bit, because what I'm saying
I'm just
is
thinking
like,
of the return that we've gotten on the advance of the microprocessor versus the return you'd get on having a coat that zips itself up.
But what I'm saying is that in Back to the Future, or at least in the Sci-So's interpretation of it, the technology basically all rose at an equal rate. I was hearing that before, and it was driving me nuts because I thought somebody was screaming. But the Back to the Future sort of had technology all progress at the same time.
Right.
So instead of basically all of our the last 30 years, all of our technological advances have come
all rose at the same
from
rate.
the computer. But we don't have flying cars because aviation and propulsion has not rose at the same rate as which the microprocessor.
We do have flying cars.
We don't.
They're
have flying
called planes.
We do have flying cars. There's a company that makes flying.
They're not. It's not
They
a
don't
flying car.
shoot-
It's a plane.
They don't shoot ions underneath the rims and levitate.
yeah,
They fly like a plane.
they're just planes.
flying car though.
It's not a flying car.
It's just a plane.
It doesn't
is
have
all
a
it is.
flux capacitor in it. It's not a flying car.
We don't have anti-grav technology.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, like, I'm not saying we ever would have had it if we'd have invested the same amount of energy and effort into it, but because all of it has sort of gone this
That we
direction,
know of.
we've not progressed those other things. So I'm kind of curious to see what's next. Like, I know the computers will still go faster, and I know that so forth, but like, there's going to be another technological boom here that's going to go a different direction than the microprocessor. And
Yeah, the quantum computer.
well, okay, but what I'm trying to say is, at some point, I think we're going to
The
hit
boson computer.
we're going to hit a plateau when it comes to computers and that sort of thing, and the other infrastructure around us is going to have to catch up. And I'm kind of curious to see what next level of science or what next branch of science is going to sort of leap ahead.
Well,
That-
I mean the thing about, in my opinion, the thing about the advances in technologically is you can market it and you can make a good profit on those advances. If we talk about an advancement of, let's say, easy at home fusion power, the Mr. Fusion or whatever Doc had on the back of his vehicle, okay, you're talking about a complete sea change in the world. Think about all of the wars and conflicts and invested interest in the petroleum-based energy market that we have. Okay, you're talking about a complete sea change where everybody one time basically buys it's one little device, and for minimal investment every year they put a pellet or something in, and they've got power for the rest of the year or for the next 10 years.
Right.
So you talk about it.
Why are you holding up your phone? That your phone doesn't use your phone is not a good example of that.
It is a good example, and
No, it
I'll
isn't.
get to it in a second. But I wanted to say this first about Mr. Fusion. Is anywhere in Back to the Future 2 does it suggest that Mr. Fusion is anything other than a Doc Brown invention?
I don't know.
Because I always sort of took Mr. Fusion as he's gone to the future. He sees what's available. Now he's invented this thing that means he doesn't need to use.
I think because it's called Mr. Fusion, has a name. I would assume.
Yeah,
that
I
that's
just
how the
assumed it
other
was
but,
some-
cars.
I mean, he built the DeLorean, and
but I think that might
and
be
put-
the power for all the flying
Right.
cars.
That
but
was
you
my
don't
assumption.
see that on the back of the other cars.
I don't know.
You don't
that-
really see the other cars very well, other than like the police car. That's about the only other car that you see,
Well, neither here nor there.
or the Jeep.
The
I guess.
reason why I'm holding up my phone is this: is that you're talking about how there's been there'd have to be a complete sea change for that level of technology. I'm just telling you, one of the tallest buildings in Muncie, if you're downtown, is the AT&T building.
Sure,
Do you know what's in the AT&T building now?
cell towers.
Nothing. Almost nothing.
There's a cell tower
Yeah,
on
because
top of it.
because the whole building used to be filled with people.
Right.
People sitting at switchboards, people pulling one line to another line.
Right.
And
Right.
that was just 30 years ago that those types of landline operations
Right.
operated that way.
Okay.
Hundreds of people working up there.
Okay.
30 years, those people all have different jobs.
Okay.
They've
Right.
moved on. They're
Right.
gone.
Right.
That building's going to be there till it falls down
Okay.
because they don't need it anymore. Because our phones have changed.
Right.
I do believe that there's a possibility that energy can change too.
No, I'm saying, but what I'm saying is that the
It has to be
world
capitalized.
you have
before
to
it
think
can-
right now, like our whole financial system is built really upon
Rand Paul.
petroleum. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, I mean,
True.
so.
Well, Rubio wants to go back to the gold standard, so
That wasn't.
But I'm just saying, everything
It's
is
cruise.
that's right.
everything is built upon. I mean, our transportation, well, our hydrocarbons, I guess. Whether it's coal or oil, or oil derivatives. The bulk of our energy and transportation is based upon that.
And products.
And you have to think about the vested interest financially that everybody across the board that is tied into that. if somebody came along tomorrow and they said, here's a Mr. Fusion, okay? It costs, and always when new technologies come out, they're always expensive. But let's just say this Mr. Fusion costs $10,000, okay? You put this pellet in it, and you will have power for the next 500 years. And it'll power your home for the next 500 years.
What they would do.
So you're gonna have to find a way to still make sure that there's a financial incentive.
What
they would do is they would make it last a year and then charge.
But first off, let's not focus on Mr. Fusion because
I'm just using that as a name.
But I always felt like Mr. Fusion was.
Let's not get hung up on the Mr. Fusion. Let's just
Mr.
product.
Fusion is a product who supposedly generated energy, but remember, it takes a lightning bolt to power the car. That's how the Mr. Fusion is replacing one lightning bolt worth of power.
No. That powers the flux capacitor.
He comes back and has to refuel with a banana peel, a half a beer, and a beer can.
You could throw anything into it.
Because it produces the 1.21 gigawatts, so it uses nuclear power instead of lightning, electricity.
Right.
To
but
produce the 1.21 gigawatts.
But I'm sure it can also
power the car still ran on gas. That's the crux of episode 3.
I don't think. Yeah,
but you're missing my point.
No, I understand. But what you're saying that the Mr. Fusion isn't a possibility, or because it hasn't been capitalized. But I realize that I don't think the power system like that's going to change much. I think what would happen is we would have giant if fission or fission or fusion could be made cheaply, safely, easily, as much as just dropping garbage into a garbage chute.
That's what I'm saying.
It would be created out Mikey's back door and still owned by the same people that own our normal power generation.
That's what I'm saying is the vested interests in the world have to find a way to ensure that they can still control that power creation and the piping of that power. Because you think about it, do you think that any of these companies would like if some guy created a device that basically like, hey, here's this thing, you can hook it up to your house, you can throw any piece of garbage into it and it'll power your house for the next year, and it'll cost you $600 to do it. Think about overnight you would have every power production company, every employee related to power production, the entire hydrocarbon energy or system would collapse because everybody would be scrambling to get this new product.
Yeah.
But once you have that product, assuming it didn't have some sort of built-in obsolescence to where it falls apart, but it was a well-made product that you purchase one and it lasts for 25 years.
They stop updating after 2 generations.
But that's what I'm saying is that energy,
right?
If in my mind, for there to be a huge leap forward, energy is going to have to be something that drastically evolves for us.
You and I agree on that, sir.
So, I mean, it's going to have to...
or battery powered or we're going to have to come up with more power from something.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is you just think, though, of the financial and investment and interest in the current system, getting away from that, that's incredibly difficult because there's so many entrenched interests in the current structure.
Is it going to take chaos and war?
I have no idea.
To make a change like that, yeah.
I think the only thing that's going to would make it change is true shortage, which I don't know that there ever would be either true shortage or inability to meet capacity.
Yeah.
So which they keep saying every year, or the people, the climate people, they're like, oh, well, we're going to hit peak oil, but we just keep finding more oil, or we're going to hit a peak capacity. No, we've probably could have as much capacity as we wanted. So it's either going to be that, or it's going to be people who finally regulate it out of existence, and because they're claiming they want to do the environment, treat the environment, and they want to go with wind or solar or whatever. even though it's not nearly as efficient.
Right.
The amount of energy to putting into it versus the amount of energy you get out of it. So, but to get to that technological leap that you're talking about, I think that somewhere you're going to have a new type of energy generation.
I agree. This conversation took a way left turn. I was just basically wanting you guys to talk about the documentary you saw about back in time.
Back to the time.
Back to the time.
It was
but
okay.
I liked it. I thought it was pretty interesting because it talks about all the different parts of the movie and how people have pulled different things from it. A big chunk of the movie is about the car, about the DeLorean, and about the group of people that have went. Basically, like every single person that owns a DeLorean turns it into
A time machine.
the Back to the Future time machine anymore. Like almost all of them do it. It's kind of crazy to think. And some of them, it shows this one guy who did it all from scratch. It shows people that buy all the parts to make it look exact replica, stuff like that. It was pretty interesting. It talks about the pitch of the movie and like how Zemeckis had to take it to a bunch of different people, things like that. It was pretty interesting. The fan thing was pretty cool.
did it get into the plot holes at all?
No. Actually, most of the things that people said, like the first movie, they talk about how like some film professors use that script as like the perfect script. Like the screenplay written is like one of the best written screenplays ever. Some people are claiming. So just by the way
Steven
that
Spielberg said that.
yeah, Spielberg said it, but they were talking about how there are some like movie professors that use that screenplay as like the quintessential best written screenplay ever.
So then why did Zemeckis have to shop it around?
Because it's a sci-fi movie, and then they threw it around to a bunch of different people. Everyone said take it to Disney, and then they took it to Disney, and Disney said we can't make an incest movie.
Yeah.
Because of the mom.
I can't remember
falling
why.
in
There were
love with the
people that were
son.
interested, but I can't remember what it was.
The real interesting part I thought was seeing all the shots of Eric Stoltz, who originally was going to play Marty McFly.
Played half the film was shot. with him.
Yeah. And then they talked to Michael J. Fox about some of the scenes that he did where his reaction shots are the other actors' reaction shots to him are actually to Eric Stoltz when he did the part. So they didn't reshoot their part. They only
So like
reshot
when
him.
he runs into the diner the first time and everybody looks at him.
Right.
They were looking
Probably
at Eric
so.
Stoltz.
Probably looking at Eric Stoltz and not Marty McFly.
Yeah.
And they talked
Michael
about
J. Fox.
yeah.
They were
yeah,
looking at Marty McFly both times.
But it's funny to kind of look at some of those shots that they do show in that. And it wasn't Zemeckis, it was the other guy that said, they still have all of that.
Bob Gale.
Bob Gale said, yeah, they still have all of that footage.
And someday
those
it will
shots.
be released.
Yeah, someday. He said he doesn't know when, but it will probably be released at some
Like
point.
in Eric Stoltz, Back to the Future.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's weird to think, I wonder what that guy thinks. Like, to be pulled from that movie and see what it does now. I mean, the guy did Mask. I mean, he was the weird-looking kid in Mask.
They made the right decision. There's no question about it.
He was in Pulp Fiction. I mean, the dude has never made, like, a really big blockbuster movie other than Mask. Which...
Well... it did...
There's probably millions of those people, though.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, they did almost the whole movie shot with him.
Okay, did they get into the reason why they changed?
What do you mean?
Like, they just got towards the end and
It just wasn't working.
It just wasn't working. Every shot they would watch and they realized it wasn't quite there. Like the humor didn't work. Like the physical parts of it didn't work. Like there were a bunch of different things that just didn't gel right. And they already had Michael J. Fox as their first choice. They wanted him as their first choice, and they brought him in.
But he couldn't do it because of family ties.
Yeah. And then they brought him in. He said he was working. He'd get up at 6 a.m., go shoot Family Ties, leave there, go straight to the scene for Back to the Future.
Twin Pines Mall.
And do that until like 2 a.m., go home, go to sleep for like 3 hours, and get up and start it again.
And now you know why he probably has Parkinson's.
He said it was pretty cool. There is a really good he tells a really good story about Princess Diana in it, where he talks about the showing of the movie in England, and he's Canadian, so the Queen runs Canada too, so
Well, she's on their money, but yeah.
right. Well, it's still a much more respected hierarchy than it is in America.
She's
But
a figurehead, yeah.
Yes. Anyways, so they're over there and they go through the whole process of how they greet him, what you can do, what you can't do, all this stuff. And so he goes to sit down for the premiere and he's waiting and he looks over and he realizes the seat is open beside him. And there's seats open around all of the cast and the crew and stuff like that. And he realizes that as she's coming in, Princess Diana is going to be sitting beside him through the whole movie. She sat beside him. And they talk about when she laughed and when she didn't laugh and stuff like that. Like, pretty funny.
Yeah. But the big thing was that he had to pee the entire time.
Yeah. He had to pee the whole entire time. He didn't want to get up and go. So,
yeah.
It was pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Back to the Future, and I've seen some of the documentary pieces and so forth, but I haven't sat down and watched the whole video.
It's worth a watch.
Yeah, man, I'll check it out. I don't know. It's hard for me to see, like...
And there will not be a Back to the Future 4 as long as Zemeckis is alive.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he pretty much said, I have no interest.
He says my grandkids can do it after I'm dead, but after
he's like,
dead,
if they need money, they can do it, but yeah.
Well, I don't know that the story has anywhere to go. It went full
I don't know why
circle.
they would.
It
You'd
went
ruin
full
it.
circle. I know.
But hey, that's what Hollywood's good at.
Yeah, they're doing a good job with that.
Yeah, episode 7's coming out in 39 days, if I did my math right, from when this is coming out. 38 days. 37 days from when this is going to be out.
Good job.
Yeah, why are they going to do that?
You
Add more to it.
You think that Star Wars, it's on the same par as Back to the Future as far as there needs to be additional material to Back to the Future?
That's why I have a hard time. Like, I can't take I feel sad every time I see Michael J. Fox now. Like, the Parkinson's, like, it's like I worry about his health, but like, you watch him and he does the whole, like, he can't. I mean, he has Parkinson's.
He's better. What's funny is like you watch him on that documentary, and he's
that's because I
he's
guarantee
moving a lot.
He's got the best treatments. Treatments that are not even on the marketplace for regular people. I guarantee they're.
I saw a special on that. There's actually rods that have been run through his brain that they run electrical current through, and that actually is part of his treatment. Like the current that they run the rods through, sort of like neutralize some of the twitching and ticking and stuff, and then over time it builds back up, and he has to be basically re-electrocuted. But yeah, there's that's a treatment that's new that they basically invented for him or created for him.
Right.
I mean, he's done more probably for Parkinson's research.
Oh yeah.
Than anybody else in the past. I mean, more so than probably the Ice Bucket Challenge for ALS.
I don't know. They did raise a ton of money for that.
It is kind of funny that some of the people that weren't on that documentary that I would thought would have been on there, like Crispin Glover.
But he's weird.
Yeah, he wasn't on there.
Is Biff still alive?
Neither was Thomas Wilson. Yeah. And he does stand up and he does a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
He has a podcast actually, I think.
No, he doesn't. Don't go looking for it. If you're listening to our podcast, just stay right here.
They had Mayor Goldie Wilson on there.
Yeah.
He was on there a lot. They were talking to him, so
is he still Mayor Goldie Wilson? Like, has he like never left the town?
I didn't know who the guy was at first. He was like, who's this dude with dreadlocks?
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh yeah, okay, he's the mayor.
They had the guy that played Marvin Barry.
Yeah.
The guy that had
Did you see the article The Onion ran?
Yeah. That was really funny.
Talked about the night he received a phone call from his cousin Marvin Barry. It was inspired him to write Johnny Be Good.
Leah Thompson was in there, man. Leah Thompson's hot, man.
She's a pretty lady.
She is. She's good looking. She's still good looking. She looks just like she did. I mean,
well, if Michael J. Fox has all the best Parkinson's treatments, and then she has all the best anti-aging.
I'll tell you, he looked better and not as moving on when he was on Jimmy Kimmel. that the night of.
He'd just been freshly
Christopher Lloyd,
electrocuted
though.
or whatever.
Christopher Lloyd,
Right.
man, he looked rough.
Yeah.
He looked rough, man. But he's older, of course, you know, so.
I mean, I think I watched it.
He's 77, so.
I watched all the little clips on YouTube from the late night show rounds the following day. They were like, "Give us a great Scott, give us a great Scott," you know. And Toyota did a big commercial series where they were both in the diner and they had random people come in.
Did you pay your $20 for your Pepsi Perfect or whatever?
No, I did not, but Mel Holland did. We should have had Mel Holland on if we were going to talk about this. I guess he's a much bigger Back to the Future fan than I. Maybe Back to the Future is like his Star Wars. Back to the Future for him is like our Star Wars, maybe.
Feel for him.
All right. 38 days. You excited, Doug?
Is it 38?
By the time
I
this
thought it was
episode comes out, it's 38 days.
Yeah, I guess it would be, wouldn't it? Yeah. So
I did the math already, dude.
Well, I'm time traveling, Ryan.
How do you pronounce Deutch as the last name?
What?
Deutch.
Deutsch?
Okay.
Why?
Leah Thompson. It was just stood out to me because she's married to a guy named Howard Deutch.
Yeah.
Deutch, and she was in the movie Howard the Duck, and I was just kind of making a connection there.
So, yeah, I'm excited. Not about that.
You would pronounce it Duke?
Deutsch?
Howard Duke?
Howard Duke?
I'm excited. I'm ready.
I am too. I'm ready to get some answers. I'll tell you that much, man.
That's
or at least I'm ready to.
That's
start
what Harrison
more
Ford
questions.
said whenever he was on Jimmy Kimmel. He said, "It is an excellent movie. You will not be disappointed."
Do you think he's really seen a final cut of the film already?
I think that's what Kimmel asked him if he'd seen one. I think he said yes. So
well, we're recording this 2 weeks ago. Special effects were essentially done. Like all they had left to do was John Williams was going to rescore sort of the final cut.
Yeah.
I would assume it would be done.
Well, I'm assuming here within the next couple weeks they're going to start their.
They've already
tour.
started filming some of the.
I'm talking about
eight.
their tour. We would start their world premieres here fairly soon. I mean,
yeah, with 38 days or so to go.
Yeah. So,
well,
I mean,
I can't believe we're not getting something special at Thanksgiving time.
Well, it was a year ago at Thanksgiving that we were all up and
yes, that's when
hitting
we got
refresh.
So we got the first trailer.
No more until December. So you better hope that asteroid doesn't take us out, Ryan.
Like a.
Wouldn't that suck if it took us out on the 16th?
Well, I mean, it would suck for lots of reasons.
Yeah, but that's the main reason. I won't get to see Star Wars.
Like a BB-8 balloon in the Macy's Day Parade. I mean, come on.
Speaking of balloon, just as a quick side note, you see about that balloon that took off?
Yeah, in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
You see this? The military blimp. There's a military blimp that got dislodged. Like it was held down and it broke free.
But it had a cable dragging.
Floated away. Huge metal cable dangling from it. As it was floating through the air in Pennsylvania, this cable was hitting power lines and just knocking out power for like thousands of people.
Yeah, it was like 20 or 30,000 people.
And we're going to assume that really wasn't on purpose.
Well, Mike Huckabee made a good analogy to it in The Republican. He said that's basically the government right there. A huge bloated thing that you don't need, that takes off on its own and just wreaks havoc for miles, affecting tens of thousands of people. So, but yeah, no BB-8 balloon. You think that'll be in the Thanksgiving Day parade?
I hope so. I'm hoping so.
That would make sense. If they were going to put a balloon in, they would do that.
I mean, they could do the Falcon. That'd be cool.
No, I think they do the droid.
Yeah, they want to sell that toy.
Sell that toy to those kids. So.
Yeah, the kids.
To the kids, you know. Yeah, I haven't really heard anything new on the Star Wars front.
Nope.
I haven't. Noah and I have had lots of conversations. So, it's been a couple of weeks. How do you guys think Noah did? Did he do okay?
Yeah. Kept you on
Okay.
track.
He was excited. He was bummed when I was working on some of the video edits. He was just like, "So when's my video going to go up? When's my video going to go up?" Well, we didn't record yours, but it was a bonus one, so there's no video footage of that particular of the trailer remix. So, yeah. So I had fun doing it with him. He wants to do another show at some point. I'm just not sure how it's going to work, or if we're going to put it under the flagship of the station, or if we're not going to do something, maybe something a little different. Noah and I have been consolidating a lot of our theories and sort of coming up, and the only thing really that I would have to add at this point is that, and this is way out there, probably episode 8, maybe episode 9, but on the love story side of things. I mean, we've had the Leia and the Han situation. If I'm looking at Rey and I'm trying to decide what happens, I think that it's going to end up being like Rey and Poe. I think that's going to... Poe's the pilot. He's the one that's not a Jedi. That we're assuming is not a Jedi. He's the one who has her droid at one point. And I just don't know if that maybe doesn't become the new sort of relationship. Because they'll have to be a boyfriend-girlfriend
Right.
type essence to the story.
I wonder, I kind of had some wonder about how was Finn going to truly be a Jedi? Was he ever going to get to that point? Were they going to take him that far? Was he, what was going to happen with Finn? So, but I watched another documentary called Showrunners, and J.J. Abrams was on that, and he is like dead set. He said it a couple times, I think, in that documentary. He wants to have a strong, prominent black lead in a movie or TV show, because he doesn't feel like that's something that has happened. So I think that he definitely, if he's involved in writing, and what made me think, Finn, if he's involved, he's going to take him probably full bore Jedi and put him in the forefront.
He's the Luke of the story.
So, and I know there's a lot of people. It's like, is it going to be Daisy? Is it going to be Finn? But I think that Finn is definitely going to have a strong. He's going to have a strong central role, I think, as long as JJ's involved, because he's really got this social aspect component that he's really wanting to push. So,
does that bother you that that's bleeding into your Star Wars?
For me, if it makes sense, I don't care. The character color's irrelevant to me. If it makes sense for the storyline,
what if
I don't
he
really
acts like Hayden Christensen?
If he's terrible as an actor, then it would be very unfortunate if that's the case.
Have you read any of the articles that are? I mean, it's pretty well confirmed that Hayden Christensen is getting back into shape. That he is.
So, was he going to do a flashback?
I don't know that, or we're looking at a clone.
A clone,
or a Force ghost.
He'll be in the Vader costume. So what?
If he's cloned, he would not be in the Vader costume. He's a brand new baby. Why they're gonna like clone him?
Yeah, put him in the Vader costume.
Clone him, grow him up, and then drag him out to Mustafar, cut his legs off again.
Yeah.
Burn him up again.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
My assumption was it would be a flashback. I don't want them.
What are they flashing back to?
I don't want them bringing Darth Vader back. I don't want them bringing Anakin back. Have him be a Force ghost. Have him be a flashback, something. But
the only reason why I feel like we could actually see Anakin back as Anakin is
I don't like that idea.
Is that Star Wars has always been not a story of the Skywalker line, but Darth Vader's story. 1 through 6 are Darth Vader's story.
Right.
So if Anakin returns for 7, 8, 9, and that to me is enough.
Well, he's not in 7 though.
Okay, if Darth Vader returns in 8, 9, I could see that being like a flip that JJ would be interested in, like a twist to the story that nobody is expecting that he could get behind.
That Anakin comes back as
a good guy.
As a good guy.
Or at least as a Jedi, not a Sith, without the Emperor there to twist him.
I don't know. It's hard for me to bite on.
It would be the full redemption at that point.
It just
then
it just
again.
ruins. It just ruins. It just ruined the original trilogy. Then
Well, here's
for
my
me.
thing: is
you were finally redeemed at your death. You redeem yourself, but we'll just bring you back as a good guy.
maybe I'm being a little contrary, but we've seen the surrender of yourself to the Force on several occasions.
Right.
We've seen Obi-Wan surrender in mid-battle, like no death was seen there. He simply just released his body.
Right.
You think he took all of his DNA with him when he went?
I don't know, Ryan. I don't know how conversion into the Force works. If there's any physical.
Qui-Gon Jinn did not get converted. We didn't see him get converted.
No.
We watched him burn.
But his spirit learned how to evidently do that.
Well, in episode 3, it was one of Yoda's last orders to Obi-Wan was focus on that. That's your homework assignment.
Right. Was it Qui-Gon, I will teach you how to commune or whatever?
Not Qui-Gon, but he tells Obi-Wan, to study this method of surrendering yourself over to the Force.
No, was that a deleted scene?
No, it's not a deleted scene. It's like at the end of
No.
episode 3.
It's either in Clone Wars or a deleted scene from episode 3 where Qui-Gon. It's a deleted scene where Qui-Gon comes back to Yoda. That he'd found a way back to commune through become a Force ghost, basically. And that Yoda was going, but Yoda says that. I thought that he's going to teach him.
You'll get to see an old friend or something.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't like the idea of them cloning Luke, or cloning Vader.
Well, the only reason why I bring that up is because there's some discontinuity a little bit within the Force Ghost sort of meta, if you want. Obi-Wan physically gives himself up, he disappears, and he's gone.
Right.
Qui-Gon, he gets killed, we watch his body burn. We don't know if he comes back or if he doesn't come back as a Force Ghost. Yoda, his body's there, he takes his last breath with Luke.
Sure.
He's dead,
but
then he dissolves.
Right.
Hey, if you can fall into a Sarlacc pit and survive, none of this other matter stuff
Here
matters.
we go again.
Boba Fett.
He surrendered himself.
And then Anakin dies. Is burn up, but yet his body then returns. His spirit returns then. So I kind of wonder about like this whole idea of like even being able to clone something that physically had to be gone.
It'll be a soulless. Will it be a soulless?
Well, it wouldn't have Anakin's experiences. He would not have been a slave.
But will it have the Force?
I don't know. Is the Force tied to a biology, like a metachlorian count? Because if you just clone somebody that has the exact same metachlorian count, then yes, they would have the Force.
We won't mention the midichlorians.
Please don't mention. Did you watch the Phantom Edit?
I know. I didn't get a chance to.
You guys are slackers. All right. Do you guys? Is there anything else you guys want to talk about this week? We've been sort of all over the map, and I don't know. Noah's not here to keep us on track, so I
know. No, I don't think so. I mean, other than we're getting ready to get into the holiday season, so what we've only got. It'll be the almost middle of November, so Thanksgiving will be in what about 10 days ish?
Yeah. No. This show is going to come out. What day did I decide? This show actually come out on the 9th.
The 9th. Okay.
The 9th. So we'll have
about
another
3 weeks?
Another 2 weeks. Well, another 3 full weeks here before Thanksgiving.
So.
And then, are you doing Chris Thanksgiving?
Yes, I will be.
Chris Thanksmas.
So, when are you going to do your Chris Thanksmas?
And we'll be doing a Chris Thanksmas, second annual Chris Thanksmas broadcast.
December 12th? Is that what you're thinking?
It will be I will probably do it actually the weekend of The Force Awakens. Probably do it that weekend.
Okay.
Because it'll be after everybody's out of school, and my family will be down. So
Okay.
more than likely it will be that. What will that be? The 19th?
That's the 19th. Yeah, that's what I was
The week before.
That's the
Christmas.
weekend before Christmas.
Weekend before Christmas, more than likely.
Okay. All right.
Is that good with you, Ryan? Is that
Probably not. But we'll have to wait till we go closer to the date.
so?
That's typically like the weekend that we go see the lights and any sort of last Christmas shopping. We typically don't have our kids that weekend because we're
The
doing
19th?
the last minute stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the 19th.
I don't know.
So,
I have a birthday that I have to plan around that time too. So
whose birthday?
Julia's
Julia's
is on the 20th. So
Yeah. That will be Julia. That'll probably be Julia's birthday.
and I'll probably be going back to see the movie again that weekend. So
Well, that's one of the things too. Is my nephews will be down, so I don't know. It will either be that weekend or the weekend before. One of the two.
12th or the 19th.
So, usually I do it on the second Saturday, typically. So, I may do it on that weekend. But either way, it will be happening.
Cool.
Yeah.
Excited.
So
We had a good time last year. Thanks for the invite, and
yeah,
hopefully we'll be able to come again this year.
I'm just gonna have to make sure we've made some adjustments to the layout of the house. So we'll have to make sure that.
What do you mean by that?
Courtney has now turned the back room into kind of her office space. So I still have room back there to put people, but it's not quite as much room as I had previously. I may end up actually just making her move move back into the room with me. So she may not like that, but oh well. She moved. Basically, what we did was I moved. We both had our computers in the same room,
Right.
and then she got a big computer desk and new nice printer and everything. So she's got a bunch of room there now. So it's cut down a little bit of space, not much, but a little bit there. So still should be able to get people in though. But yeah.
Awesome.
It's nice. It's nice things, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, all nice.
Yeah. So
Well,
there we go. Real exciting.
If you guys want to follow along to the plans that are coming up on our Facebook page or suggest show topics as we head in, we're going to be pretty well swamped here from here on out with shows.
What do we have lined up on the way out
preordained
for this year?
I don't know. I just closed my calendar. I don't know. I can't pull it up on my calendar right away. But I mean, if you have suggestions or ideas or show topics, or you want to be a guest on the show, please contact us at buffalobrotherhood@gmail.com. If you want to follow along with what's going on our Facebook page, you can do so at facebook.com/buffalobrotherhood. If you want to contact any of us on Twitter, you can do so at BOBcast Nation. If you want to follow me, it's Buffalo Cast. Mikey's Fuman2, 2 O's, 2 N's, and the number 2. Dustin? No, you're not Dustin.
Good
Doug.
Lord.
Buffalo.
Doug, I know.
Are you
I know.
that tired?
No, I'm not.
No.
I'm not tired. Stop asking me if I'm tired. Doug is at Refried Evil on Twitter. You can follow our videos on YouTube. You can check out our home on the web. It's at buffalobrotherhood.com. And we'll see you guys all next week. I hope you guys have enjoyed the beginning of your November, and we'll be with you through the rest.
See ya.
BuffaloBrotherhood.com.
BuffaloBrotherhood.com.